So thanks for taking the time and coming on and speaking to us.
Yeah, of course. I'm doing well. I had a nice vacation last week, and now I'm back in New York and training again. So everything is good.
We've seen that you were out. Was that a nice rest after your fight about 3 weeks ago? You came back, stopping the man in the first round. Great victory for you.
Yeah, it was good. Got the job done, and got a nice knockout. So nice to be back with a win, and hopefully you can set something bigger up for me.
How did you feel getting back in there? Did you feel like you're getting sharpness back to your best?
Yeah, I think so. I felt good. I had good training all the way, good sparring, so felt confident. And then, yes, going in there, it's always good. I mean, it was a first round knockout, but still, it's everything around it. Always good to get the experience. So I think it was good. Step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Is the plan to get back out again this year 2 or 3 times, or?
Yeah. Probably not 3 times. I would like to. I don't know if that's possible, but at least one.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the heavyweight landscape's been blown open even more so over the last couple of weeks. You saw the card in Saudi Arabia. Some names I'm sure are on your sort of radar. We saw Jarrell Miller and Andy Ruiz have that great fight that came to a draw. Martin Bakole as well, stopping Jared Anderson. Did you watch those fights, and have you got your eyes on those guys?
I missed the fights because I was on vacation. We went to a bar. We saw some of it. But I missed the heavyweights, unfortunately. I tried to look up the highlights, so I saw those, but I haven't been able to see the full fights yet.
Are those names, those guys, are they sort of guys you're targeting for the rest of 2024, 2025?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys out there, and I mean all those 4 guys I think will be good fights. So yeah, I'm open to anything really.
Did you see did you get a chance to watch the Joe Joyce and Dereck Chisora fight the other week?
I watched it. I gotta be honest. I watched it maybe 3 rounds, then I fell asleep, and I woke up at like the 9th round, the 8th or 9th round. So I missed a little bit, but from what I saw, I mean they put on it was a tough fight. It was a tough fight. Good for fans, I think. Back and forth. So yeah.
We know that Dereck Chisora said he's got 2 more fights left in him. And you're obviously in a process where you're trying to build yourself back up for a world title shot, I'd imagine. Is that the kind of name you'd look at next, or are you looking at sort of where are you looking next in your career in terms of working your way back to the heavyweight title?
It all depends what kind of offers I get, but it's not like I have my eyes locked in on anyone, but Chisora, I think that's a perfect fight for me. Joyce, Dillian Whyte, at that level. But then if you step up, there's a lot of other guys. So yeah, just the 4 that we were just talking about. There's so many fights out there. It just depends what kind of offers I get, I think.
There is so many fights in the heavyweight division at the moment. I think you were set to fight Dillian Whyte, weren't you, a couple of years ago, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, that was in 2021, and he pulled out 10 days before the fight. So it was annoying, but yeah. I would love to fight him now.
So that's one that you've got your eyes on. If
for sure. I like to fight Dillian Whyte. I think that's a good fight for me, and put me right back in the mix.
We've seen you've been on the Saudi cards. We've seen what Turki Al-Sheikh's doing out in Saudi Arabia, and he's always making these. It's almost like a heavyweight league, if you like. The biggest fights are always being made, and you're always right in the mix. You're certainly right up there with some of the best heavyweights in the world. So is that your aim? Get back in the mix with that, and is your ambition still to fight for the heavyweight world title, Otto?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not thinking about fighting for the title so much right now. Just try to take it step by step, but definitely, I still got my eyes on it, of course, but I gotta be humble. Just take it step by step, build myself up again, improve, and when I get the chance, I'll be ready for it.
We know you had the fight with Anthony Joshua last year. He's obviously a former world champion, someone you knew well from you fought in the amateurs as well. Where do you think it went wrong for you that night in Saudi?
When I look at the fight, there's a few things that I think that I should have done better. And I've been working on those things, just trying to improve, get better. So I think for me also, it was good for me to get the experience. Even though I lost, it's always good to fight, the best. You gain a lot from that. And I think I did. So I think for me now, like I said, just take it step by step, realize what I can do better, and work on that.
Are you someone that keeps yourself in the gym, Otto? Like in terms of in between fights, do you always keep yourself fit, tick over? We know people like to take their respite in between fights in different ways. Do you always keep yourself? Do you live and breathe it, if that makes sense, and keep yourself in the gym? And sort of, are you feeling like you're priming now and peaking and ready to sort of press on over the next year?
Yeah, I always stay in the gym. I think that's very important. This is my job, so I try to treat it as a job and just stay in there, try to improve, we get better. Because also in boxing, you never know when you're gonna get a big offer, and you know I don't want to get a big offer and then I'm out of shape, so I have to say no. That's not gonna happen to me. So I'm always in the gym, just trying to improve and work on my craft.
Another one of your former opponents, Tyson Fury, of course, had the massive fight with Usyk, and we've got the rematch with himself and Usyk coming up for the heavyweight title. What did you make of the Fury and Usyk first fight, and do you think that Tyson can win the rematch, Otto?
I think it was a great fight. It was a lot of back and forth, and it was a great fight. It was a close fight. I felt like if Tyson didn't get hurt like that, I think that he was winning up until that point. I mean, it started off close, and then I felt like Tyson was taking over, and then Usyk came back and hurt him and did really well. But it was still a close fight, so I think it could go either way in the rematch. It all depends, you know. Both guys know each other a little bit better now and see who can make the adjustments. But I mean, it's hard to pick a winner still. I think that was a close fight, and the next one is going to be close too.
Anthony Joshua as well, obviously another one of your former opponents. He's fighting Daniel Dubar. That almost seems like a bit of an eliminator between those two fights for almost like a final between the winner of those two fights. Do you see Anthony Joshua coming through the fight with Daniel Dubar, or do you think that's a tough test for him?
I think it's a good fight for Joshua. He's probably the favorite. And I know Dubai is a strong guy. You know, he's a good fighter too. But I think that Joshua it's going to be a problem for Dubois. If Dubai comes out and getting hit as much as he was with Hrgovic, then I think Joshua will win by knockout before the sixth round. If Dubai comes out there with a little bit better defense, not as easy to hit, and maybe can put on Joshua a little bit, hit him with a few good shots, then I think it could turn into a good fight. But there's a lot of ifs. And I can only judge from Dubois' last fight, and he was getting hit a lot. So he's not going to be able to do that with Joshua.
Who did you think was better out of the two? You faced them both, two of the biggest names in Britain in heavyweight boxing. Who did you think was the better fighter? And if that fight one day gets made, Otto, I think a lot of people would want to hear from you. Who do you think would win between those two?
For me, the Joshua fight was a lot tougher. Joshua was a lot better. He gave me a lot tougher fight than my fight with Fury. But that doesn't mean that he's just gonna beat Fury very easily. I think that still, you know, styles makes fights, so it's not a given. And I think it's gonna be a close fight. But I always said that Fury was gonna beat Joshua, but now after being in with Joshua, I changed my mind a little bit. But I think it's a 50-50 fight.
I know you didn't get a chance to watch the fights, but the Martin Colley obviously stopped Jared Anderson. We know there's been a lot of talk about Jared Anderson, big upcoming fighter in America. But are you based in New York permanently now? Also, that's where you're based, haven't you? Fight out of America. So yeah. I'm sure you've been around, sparred with these guys. I don't know if you've sparred him exactly, but I'm sure you've sparred a lot of these guys. But were you surprised by that result? Did you expect Jared Anderson to come through that? I know Martin Colley is a great fighter as well.
I was surprised when I saw it. I just read the results that Jared Anderson got knocked out. I was surprised. But you know, he's a young guy. He's only 24. But Colley is probably 30 something, and you know, it's probably too early for Jared Anderson. I feel like Top Rank must have made a mistake there because they should have let him. That was a big risk, and you know, when you get knocked out like that, it doesn't mean that you can just come back. Sometimes you take a lot of damage. I think that a good example is Joyce when he got knocked out by Shang, and he doesn't. To me, he doesn't really look the same anymore. So we'll see what happens with Anderson. He's still young, so he can come back. I think he's a good fighter. He was just a little bit too early for him, I think.
I believe you're 33 now, Otto. Is that right? It's almost like the prime for a heavyweight, really. From what I see, from about 28 to 33 is a heavyweight's prime. Do you feel like you're in your prime now? And how many years left do you think you've got in the sport? Are you still feeling like you've got the hunger for the game?
I don't know how long I'm gonna be boxing for. To be honest, some days I feel 5 years, some days I think 2 years. It all depends. It depends what happens, how well I do or what happens in my fights. But I think that I'm getting better all the time. So that's I lost my life, but I'm getting better. I feel like I'm getting better and I'm improving. So that's important. The day I feel like I can't get better or that I'm getting worse, then I think it's gonna be time to call it.
Talking about, when it's time to call time on a career, Deontay Wilder, I know it's never it's always up to the individual, but we've seen him sort of have a couple of back-to-back defeats now and sort of not look quite like the man he was, given he ruled the division for 6 or 7 years. Where do you see Wilder going now, Otto? Do you think that he should carry on in the sport? Do you think he can at the top level, or do you think he's probably seen his best days now?
It's hard for me to say, but just judging from his last fights, he hasn't looked the same at all. And I think those fights with Fury took a lot out of him. And he doesn't look the same. So if he wants to keep fighting, I mean, it's up to him. He can keep fighting. If he doesn't, then, he should retire. But I mean, I can't make the call, but, just from seeing his last fights, it doesn't look like the same. And this is a dangerous sport. And he's been in tough fights lately, so he's gotta for sure think about it.
Another heavyweight that I know is sort of looking to rebuild his way back to the top. Michael Hunter, American heavyweight, is sort of gone a bit under the radar for a while. But was actually a fantastic fighter. He's beat Martin Colley. Is that someone that's on your radar at all? Is that a fight you'd like? I know he's sort of looking for a big name.
I mean, like I say, I'm open to fight anyone, really. I haven't thought too much about Michael Hunter. It's not so much, I never really hear about him, but, it all depends on the offers that comes in and we take it from there. But, I mean, I'm open to fight anyone. I fought Fury, Joshua, so I feel like I can fight anyone.
Have you had many conversations with Turki Al-Sheikh or those guys or the promotional team about sort of anything upcoming, any big plans?
Not yet. No, we haven't had any conversations. I'm really hoping to go back to Saudi Arabia. They took really good care of us last time, and it was a really good trip. So I'm hoping to go back there in the fall.
Before we wrap it up today, Otto, is there anything you'd like to add? Any fans watching you or any of your upcoming fights? Anything you'd like to add? I
just want to say thanks to everybody that's following me and giving me support. It means a lot, and especially after the Joshua fight, I was a little bit down, but I got a lot of love and a lot of support online. So that really meant a lot to me and made me when I get back on the horse, just keep grinding.
Otto Wallin, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to Through the Ropes today, and it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.